In 3 years at UCLA Law School, I only learned one thing: never sue or be sued. Yeah, that's what the lawyers told us. Avoid at all costs getting sued or being the one to sue, because there's only one winner in any lawsuit. That's the lawyer. We're going to be talking about how to avoid getting sued, how to make sure that you're ahead of the game in that regard today. We have a special guest I'll introduce in a second. But if you think this topic is a good idea, and you would like more like this, press like down there, and then please subscribe. And maybe you want to be notified. This is going to be at least a 2-day series on the legal aspects of running a business. And so push notify, and that way you'll be notified when we get to the next version, and or who knows, it may run longer. So today we have with us Mike Schecter, and Mike is with a famous company called LegalShield, and he's been doing that a very long time. Mike, how long have you been with LegalShield?
I've been an independent contractor for about 20 years.
So you know a lot about that company and about their history and how they've grown and even changed some of the stuff that they do over that 20-year period.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's been quite a growth story, and I guess apparently a good one for you.
Yes, yes. If you want, I can just take about 30 seconds to tell you a little about the history of the company.
That'd be great. Be perfect.
Sure. So LegalShield has been around for about 50 years, established in 1972. We are essentially the largest law firm in the United States. We have about 7,000 attorneys on staff, and we have presence in every jurisdiction here in the US and in Canada. And basically, it's an alternative. We have AV-rated attorneys. Instead of paying several $100s an hour, you pay a small monthly fee, and you have open access to almost anything that you need. And then for some of the big ticket items, there is a cost, but at a deep discount. So.
Yeah, so basically it's kind of, I know this is probably not legally what you call yourself, but it's kind of like legal insurance.
Correct. I get that quite a bit, and it is act as insurance. But what I like to tell people, Randy, is that insurance is really important. You're glad you have it, but you never want to use it. Anybody here want to use their life insurance tomorrow?
No.
Right? And so if something comes up, you have an issue or you have a serious problem, yeah, you need an attorney, and you can do that, and it's cost effective. But what I like to say is LegalShield is proactive. It's a proactive tool to get advice up front to prevent problems from happening, right? Wealthy people, they have attorneys on retainer, not because they get into trouble all the time. It's actually just the opposite. So they get good, solid advice, make good decisions to prevent problems from happening. And that's kind of how our services are most utilized. And we cover everything from A to Z.
Yeah. In fact, people laugh when I tell them that I got my law degree at UCLA and then never practiced a day. I didn't even take the bar, because by the time I was in my second year at UCLA, I realized I didn't like the law. I also didn't like lawyers. And so why did I want to hang around with these people for the rest of my life? So I've been involved, as you know, Mike, in a bunch of different businesses over the years. But the result of having been in law school and hearing that one thing, never sue or be sued, has resulted in the fact that I have only been in a court of law one time as plaintiff or defendant in all those companies that I owned. But I've been in court 3 times as a witness, as a paid witness.
Okay.
So an expert witness, I guess. I'm an expert at something. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I've had that role 3 times. So, but the reality is that having been in law school for that time, I did learn enough about the law to be able to watch over my affairs in such a way as to avoid the prospect of a lawsuit. Most small business owners don't have that advantage. They are shown, they have contracts put in front of them that need to be signed. They create contracts all the time. They don't even know they're creating a contract. Every invoice, every purchase order, every offer that they make is a contract that has legal ramifications. And most folks that run businesses don't realize that just sending out an email that says, "Hey, I'll do this for you for $300," they've created a legal piece of paper.
Terms and conditions.
Terms and conditions have been offered, and if there is an acceptance, now you have a legal obligation to do what you said you were going to do. So LegalShield then is kind of like having your lawyer in your hip pocket. Would that be a better way to say it? I'm getting ready to sign a contract or create a contract. I just pick up the phone.
Absolutely. Actually, we have an app. Just tap the app and get right into the law firm. And it's really easy to do that. And what you do is they verify who you are, the nature of your issue, and they have a specialized attorney that's going to consult with you and in any area of the law, and you stay on the phone as you want. You're not charged one time of attorney fees. Yeah, no, absolutely. But so yeah, you can get advice. You can upload a document or a contract for review, up to 15 or 25 pages, and just ask questions, unlimited. And so that it's very easy to use. So
yeah. So when you're setting up a brand new business, and there's a bunch of you guys listening right now who are starting your own business for the first time, and there's a whole bunch of things you have to do legally when you're getting started. You're going to, create certain kinds of documents that you're going to use in your small business. You may be signing a contract for a lease. You may be deciding what kind of business are you going to be. Are you going to be an LLC? Are you going to be a sole prop? Are you going to be a C Corp or an S Corp? There's all these decisions that some people say that they're definitely going to be a not-for-profit corporation, but not intentionally. But yeah, how you incorporate or not incorporate, setting up all the documents. These are, and hiring, making your first hire. All of a sudden, you got a whole another set of legal things that you're involved in, and some industries are more complicated than others. You were telling me, Mike.
Oh yeah. Listen, even with COVID now, there's a lot of issues with compliance, exposure, the S Corp, C Corp, sole proprietorship, or limited liability corporation, which is an LLC. There's a limited liability partnership. Every one of those has tax implications, and there are actually inherent benefits that go with it. And only a law firm can help you with something like that. If you're dealing with import, export, or your interstate commerce, it's another variable that you have to be aware of. With LegalShield, your legal plan is covered in all 50 states. How cool is that? If you have issues with trademark or copyright or patents, a patent attorney is the most expensive attorney. Some cost $1,000 an hour. With LegalShield, we give you 3 separate sessions with a patent attorney, and there's no cost with that except your small monthly fee.
Right.
And so it just makes it easy to have a law firm on retainer.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, some companies have way more legal exposure than other companies. So contractors that are working in people's homes or are working on people's homes. Doctors and lawyers, CPAs, barbers, other people have much more complicated things. Yeah.
Yeah, daycare centers, chiropractors, all of that, teachers.
Sure.
And so there's inherent liability. That how beautiful would it be to have a law firm at your back and not in your pocket, but
yes, you're prepaying for the legal services. So and we also have a lot of ADA kinds of scary stuff out there. So people walk into your retail store and you don't have the right ramp, or you don't have the right width of your aisles. You have employees that might be handicapped in some way that you weren't aware. You have a friend of mine does ADA websites
Right.
Because now lawyers are coming in, they're ripping off these small business people by claiming that the website is not easy to be used by people that have some kind of maybe they're blind, and the braille reader can't pick up every single thing that's on the website, and all of a sudden you're facing, oh, I know. And another great one is you're using pictures. I've gotten those letters. You're using pictures on your social media or using pictures on your website, and there's somebody else's copyrighted materials,
Oh,
and all
right.
of a sudden you're facing these lawsuits. So in any one of those cases, just pick up the phone and call the Legal Shield guy, right?
LegalShield, call the law firm. And this is good also for startups, people who are thinking about starting a business, because the saying goes that 80% of businesses don't last past the first year. And the reason being is they're not prepared. They haven't done things properly. And so how cool would it be to get advice and consultation and input as you're setting up your business, even before you're established, to do it the right way? It's kind of like construction or home building, right? You got to do the foundation first, and it has to be solid, and everything else will go up from there. But if something's compromised in the beginning, and we've actually had people go to sell their home, and they go and do an inspection or a title search, and they hadn't done something 20 years ago when they bought the home, and now they're paying for it.
Yeah. Well, and that raises another issue. So if I'm an owner and I'm starting up my business, or I've been in business for 20 years, and or whether I've got one employee or 100 employees or 500 employees, I have all these potential legal issues. I have somebody who might walk in my office and say, "Hey, Johnny over there has been touching me inappropriately," and all of a sudden I've got a serious legal problem.
Right.
So there's all kinds of legal issues that happen in the workplace or happen as a result of the work you're doing, the product you're selling. Uh, Product liability is a huge one. So these are all kinds of issues we deal with all the time. But then the owner of the company is also got a personal side, right? He's got his home life, he's exposed potentially more than the average person because he's probably high income. And so when you're high income, that's called deep pockets, and that's what lawyers are always going for. So now, is that a separate situation? Person would own a business legal shield policy, but they'd also own a personal legal shield policy?
Correct. That's an excellent question. So yes, we have one plan for the business that protects the business as an entity. By the way, that plan also includes consultants to help grow their business. There are a lot of people who are in business that aren't savvy on social media. I mean, everybody's living on this 5-inch square piece of real estate, right? This is where we do our buying and selling and marketing and communicating. And so if you are not savvy in that market channel, it's hard to grow your business. But we also have a plan for the family owner or an individual, and that covers the member, which would be, let's say, the owner of the business, and their spouse or significant other, domestic partner, and any dependent children that they have that up to the age of 26, as long as they've never been married, still living in the home. Some of the advantage of those plans are doing a will, and wills are kind of 5 or 6 different components to a will. It's not about what you own, but a lot of people, because of COVID, are looking to do a healthcare directive, a durable power of attorney. With the healthcare directive, it's not about dying. It's about maybe right to life-saving measures, having a right to a ventilator written in your will. Where is your will? If something should happen, where is it? Where is it kept? Is it easily accessible? How about, Randy, what we've heard about family members not being able to be in the room when somebody's passing? And so lawyers can help with that. Your will can have something in there for something like that. And then a slew of other things, like if you get a speeding ticket, or little Johnny goes and gets a speeding ticket, we go to court for you, and you don't pay anything for that. There's contract and document review. What if you're having an issue with a third party? Maybe a mechanic did some work on your car, a contractor did some work on your home. You'd pay them a lot of money, but they didn't do the job very well, or they didn't even finish. And guess what? They're not returning your phone calls. How cool would it be to have a law firm get involved, write a nasty love letter on your behalf on the law firm's letterhead, and issues get resolved pretty quickly when you get something, in that in place. So all the school issues, remote learning, remote work, on and on. So
Sure. Yeah, I know that the issues that I faced as a business owner over the years are not going to be the same that other folks face. But I had, as a manufacturer, I had issues with intellectual property, where people were claiming that I was interfering with their intellectual rights, and at the same time, I had people that I was claiming were interfering with my intellectual rights, and those kinds of lawsuits can be extremely expensive. I've had patent attorneys tell me that don't even bother to get a patent unless you're ready to spend $100,000 to defend it.
wow.
Yeah.
That's
So you're darned if you do, darned if you don't. My own business recommendation, not legal recommendation, my own business recommendation is get the patent anyway.
right.
The patent will tend to scare some folks off.
Right.
But yeah, the kind of just the basic defense of a patent today may be as much as 100,000 just to get started. And I know that LegalShield isn't going to pay that 100,000, but it would be at a discounted rate compared to normal.
Yeah, but we also get, with one of these business plans, you get 3 separate 30-minute phone consultations with a patent attorney per year at no cost. So
Right.
conceivably, it could be $3,000 or something like that.
Just like that. Yeah, yeah. So, and I know another one that kind of crosses over between business and home. I was in a partnership for 28 years, and both my partner and I went through divorces during that 28 years, and divorces mess up companies. They
Right.
mess up the mental attitude of each partner. It puts a lot more burden on the partner who's not going through the divorce at that time. And then there's all the financial and legal aspects of the personal side that's going on. And at the same time, it may be having legal challenges with regard to the company. So having access to lawyers for both elements would have been a big plus at that time.
Yeah, yeah. And we just did a contract with somebody. What if your spouse passes away?
Oh,
They're
yes.
the owner of the business, and let's say they're shareholders or a partner agreement. Does the spouse automatically step in and assume ownership? You need to have some consultation, some contracts, some verbiage in the contracts to, plan for something like that. Very important.
Right. Yeah. Partnership agreements that are covered by insurance, so that the partner who is the surviving partner doesn't end up with the partner who died's wife as his partner.
Right.
or husband. It could, obviously could go either way. Well, listen, this has been great, Mike, and I think it's been extremely useful for the folks that follow Small Business Daily. If you've liked this content, please push the like button. You want to definitely subscribe, and then push notify if you want to be reminded tomorrow. Mike is going to be back, and there's another aspect to LegalShield, and there's another big aspect to how legal matters can dramatically affect your small business, and that is your employees' legal issues can interfere with their job, can keep them from being as effective as they might do. So how can we solve that problem? Well, come on back tomorrow and we'll talk about it. This is Randy, Kirk. Mike, thank you for being here today. And we'll be back tomorrow with more Small Business Daily.